The alarms screamed through the halls of Zalari Sector Command. Commander Thexara's crystal body glowed bright red with worry as she rushed to the main control room. Her 6 legs moved quickly across the metal floor. The sound of her steps mixed with the loud warning bells. "What is happening?" she asked as she entered the room. The control center was full of activity. Alien officers from 3 different species worked at their stations. Their faces showed fear and confusion. Officer Zix turned toward her. His insect-like head moved quickly. "Commander, we have a problem. A big problem." His 4 arms worked on the control panel. "Our deep space sensors found something." Thexara moved closer to the main screen. "Show me." The screen lit up with a star map. A red dot blinked at the edge of their space. "It's a ship, Commander. A very large ship. It just came out of faster-than-light travel." "What species?" Thexara asked. Her crystal body turned from red to blue. Blue meant she was thinking hard. "That's the problem," Zix said. His voice was quiet. "The computer says it's human." The room became silent. All the officers stopped working. They all looked at the screen. The word human appeared next to the red dot. Thexara's body turned yellow. Yellow meant fear. "Are you sure?" "Yes, Commander. The ship is sending out signals, old math codes. The computer found them in the old files. They match human patterns from 200 years ago." Another officer spoke up. This one was Vortani, made of pure energy. Her voice sounded like wind. "Commander, should we call for help?" Thexara thought for a moment. "Yes. Send word to the council. Tell Admiral Krex of the Kithexan leader Violon of the Vortani. We need to meet right now." Within 1 hour, the 3 leaders were together on the command station. Admiral Krex looked angry. His bug-like body was dark green. That color meant he was ready to fight. Leader Violon floated as a ball of blue light. She seemed worried. "How? Did they get past the quarantine zone?" Admiral Krex asked. His voice was loud and rough. "We don't know," Thexara said. "But they're here now, and they're coming closer." Leader Violon's light grew brighter. "We need to look at the old records." "Again, what do we know about humans?" Thexara pressed buttons on her control panel. Old files appeared on the screen. The words were in the old galactic language. "First contact was 200 years ago," she read. "Location, Outer Rim colonies. Result, disaster. Human ships attacked without warning. They destroyed 3 peaceful colonies. Many died." Admiral Krex's body turned darker. "I remember the stories my grandfather told me. He said humans were like demons. They fought without honor. They killed for fun. The report says they used strange weapons," Thexara continued, reading. "They don't follow any rules of war. They attack the weak first. Very dangerous species." Leader Valon moved closer to the screen. "But look at this part. It says they were fighting other ships too. Maybe they were not the only ones there." Admiral Krex made a clicking sound with his mouth. That meant he disagreed. "It doesn't matter. They attacked our people. We put up the quarantine zone for a good reason. Now they broke it." Thexara read more. "The report says human technology was simple back then. Basic weapons, slow ships. But they were very good at fighting. They used tricks and plans we didn't understand. And now they have faster-than-light travel," Admiral Krex said. "If they were dangerous with simple technology, what can they do now?" The 3 leaders looked at each other. The room felt cold and scary. "What should we do?" Leader Valon asked Admiral. Krex stood up tall. "We should attack them before they attack us. Hit them hard and fast." "Wait," Thexara said. "We should try to talk to them first." "Talk?" Admiral Krex's voice got louder. "Did you read the same report I did? These creatures don't talk. They only fight." Leader Valon moved between them. Both of you, calm down. We need to think about this carefully. Thexara looked at the star map again. The human ship was still moving toward them. How big is their ship? Officer Zix checked his instruments. Very big, Commander. Much bigger than our largest battleship. It has thick armor and many weapon ports. Admiral Krex's body turned almost black. See? They come here with a warship. This proves they want to fight. Or maybe they're scared too, Leader Valon said. Maybe they think we want to fight them. Thexara made a decision. Send out the emergency signal. All civilian ships must leave the sector right now. Move them to safe areas. Good idea, Admiral Krex said. And tell all our warships to come. Here, we need every ship we have. Officer Zix worked quickly on his controls. Message is sent, Commander, but it will take time for our fleets to arrive. How much time do we have? Thexara asked. The human ship will reach our space in 6 hours. Admiral Krex walked to the window. He looked out at the stars. 6 hours to prepare for war. Maybe. We should try to contact them, Leader Valon said again. What would we say? Admiral Krex turned around. Hello, humans. Please don't kill us like you killed our people 200 years ago. Thexara studied the old reports again. Something felt wrong. The reports were not very detailed. They didn't explain much about what really happened. These records are strange, she said. They don't tell the whole story. What do you mean? Leader Valon asked. Look here. It says human ships were found at the colony sites, but it doesn't say why they were there. It doesn't explain what happened before the fighting started. Admiral Krex made the clicking sound again. It doesn't matter why they were there. What matters is that our people died. Officer Zix looked up from his station. Commander, I'm getting more information about the human ship. Tell us, Thexara said. It's not just moving toward us, it's slowing down, and it's sending some kind of signal. All three leaders moved closer to Zix's station. What kind of signal? Thexara asked. I'm not sure. It's in a language the computer doesn't recognize. But wait. Zix worked on his controls. The computer is trying to translate it. They waited. The room was quiet except for the sound of machines working. Got it, Zix said. His voice sounded surprised. Commander, you're not going to believe this. What is it? Admiral Krex demanded. The signal is in perfect galactic standard. The humans are speaking our language. Thexara's body turned bright. White. That meant she was very shocked. That's impossible. How do they know our language? I don't know, Commander. But there's more. They're asking for permission to enter our space. They say they come in peace. Admiral Krex laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Of course they say that. It's a trick. Leader Valon's light pulsed slowly. Maybe it's not a trick. Maybe things have changed. The main screen showed the human ship getting closer. It was huge and dark against the stars. But something was strange about it. The ship was moving slowly and carefully. It didn't look like it was preparing to attack. Commander, Officer Zix said, they're sending another message. This one is different. Play it, Thexara ordered. A voice came through the speakers. It sounded human, but it spoke their language perfectly. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Prometheus. We request safe passage through your space. We carry important supplies. For the refugee camps in the Outer Rim. We mean no harm to anyone. The three leaders looked at each other. None of them knew what to say. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Prometheus. She looked out at the stars through the big front window. Her ship was huge, but it felt small in the empty space around them. The crew worked quietly at their stations. Captain, said Lieutenant Rodriguez from the communications station, we're getting close to the Zalari sector. Should I try to contact them? Sarah nodded. Yes, send a peaceful greeting. Use the standard diplomatic protocols. Rodriguez worked on his controls. Message sent, Captain. Sarah walked around the bridge. Her crew was not all human. At the weapons, Station sat Crawl, a big alien with gray skin. He came from a planet that was destroyed by pirates. At the navigation station was Talin, who looked like a cat but walked on two legs. Her people were refugees too. Any response yet? Sarah asked. Not yet, Captain, Rodriguez said. But I'm picking up a lot of radio signals. They sound worried. Sarah was not surprised. She knew that humans had a bad reputation in this part of space. The old stories said that humans were violent and dangerous. But those stories were wrong. Captain, said Talin from navigation, I'm seeing ships moving toward us. Many ships. Sarah looked at the scanner display. Red dots were moving from all directions. They were coming to meet the Prometheus. How many ships? She asked. At least 50, Talin said. Maybe more. They're from 3 different species. Kral turned around, in his chair. Captain, they're probably scared. My people told me stories about what happened before. Sarah knew the stories, too. 200 years ago, human ships had been found at the sites of destroyed colonies. The galactic government blamed humans for the attacks. They created a quarantine zone around human space. No human ships were allowed to leave. No alien ships were allowed to enter. But the real story was different. Sarah's grandmother had been there. She was a young officer on one of those human ships. The humans had not attacked the colonies. They had tried to defend them. Rodriguez, open a channel to the alien fleet, Sarah said. Channel open, Captain. Sarah took a deep breath. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Prometheus. We come in peace. We request permission to pass through your space. She waited. There was no answer for a long time. Finally, a voice came through the speakers. It sounded like crystal bells ringing. Human vessel, this is Commander Thexara of Zalari Sector Command. You are not welcome here. Turn around and leave our space. Sarah stayed calm. Commander Thexara, we understand your concerns, but we are not here to cause trouble. We carry medical supplies and food for refugee camps in the Outer Rim. Another voice joined the conversation. This one was rough and angry. Lies. Humans only know how to destroy. We remember what you did to our colonies. Sarah felt sad when she heard this. The misunderstanding had lasted for 200 years. It was time to tell the truth. My name is Captain Chen, she said. My grandmother was Lieutenant Chen of the Earth Vessel Defender. She was there 200 years ago. She told me what really happened. The alien voices became quiet. The human ships were not attacking your colonies, Sarah continued. They were defending them. The real attackers were pirates, space raiders who killed everyone and took everything valuable. That's not what our records say, Commander Thexara replied. Your records are wrong, Sarah said. The pirates destroyed the colonies. When your security forces arrived, they only found human ships. The pirate ships had already left, but it looked like the humans had done it. Kral leaned over to Sarah. Captain, should I show them the evidence? Sarah nodded. Rodriguez, send them the historical files. Everything we have about the colony attacks. Rodriguez sent the files to the alien fleet. Sarah waited. She knew the aliens would need time to read everything. On the alien command station, Commander Thexara looked at the files on her screen. The information was very detailed. It showed pictures of the destroyed colonies. It had reports from human officers. It even had recordings from the battles. This is impossible, Admiral Kreck said. His voice was quieter now. These files say, the humans were trying to save the colonists. Leader Vylon studied the recordings. Look at this. The human ships were damaged. They had been fighting someone else before your forces arrived. Commander Thexara read more. This report from Lieutenant Chen says they followed distress signals from the colonies. When they arrived, pirates were attacking. The humans tried to stop them. But why didn't they wait for our ships? Admiral Krex asked. Because people were dying, Leader Vylon said. The humans couldn't wait. They had to help right away. On the Prometheus, Sarah received another message from the aliens. Captain Chen, Commander Thexara said, "We are studying your files, but we need more proof. How do we know these files are real?" Sarah understood their doubt. "Commander, I have something else to show you. May I send a small shuttle to your station? I want to meet with you in person." The alien leaders talked among themselves. Finally, Commander Thexara replied, "You may send one shuttle, but it can carry only 3 people." "Understood," Sarah said. An hour later, Sarah's shuttle docked with the alien command station. She walked into the meeting room with Kral and Talin beside her. The 3 alien leaders were waiting for her. Commander Thexara was tall and made of crystal. She glowed with soft blue light. Admiral Krex looked like a giant insect with dark green skin. Leader Vailon was pure energy in the shape of a person. "Welcome," Commander Thexara said. "We have read your files, but we still have questions." Sarah sat down at the table. "Ask me anything you want." "If humans are peaceful," Admiral Krex said, "why do you have such a big warship?" Sarah smiled. "The Prometheus is not really a warship. It looks like one, but most of the space inside is for carrying supplies. We made it look dangerous so pirates would stay away." "Show us," Leader Vailon said. Sarah pressed a button on her wrist device. A hologram appeared above the table. It showed the inside of the Prometheus. Most of the ship was filled with medical equipment, food, and building materials. "Where are your weapons?" Admiral Krex asked. "We have some weapons for defense," Sarah said, "but most of what looks like weapons are actually tools. Mining lasers, construction beams, and emergency equipment." Commander Thexara studied the hologram. "This is very different from what we expected." Kral spoke for the first time. "I can tell you about humans," he said. "They saved my people when our planet was attacked. They didn't ask for anything in return. They just helped because it was the right thing to do." Talin nodded. "Same with my people. When we lost our homes, humans gave us new ones. They treated us like family." Admiral Krex looked confused. "But the old reports say humans are violent." "We can be violent," Sarah said, "when we need to protect innocent people. But we don't start fights. We try to stop them." Commander Thexara's crystal body turned from blue to green. Green meant she was starting to believe. "Captain Chen," she said, "if what you say is true, then we made a terrible mistake 200 years ago." "Yes," Sarah said, "but we can fix it now. Humans don't want revenge. We want to help." Leader Vailon moved closer to the table. "What kind of help?" Sarah was about to answer when all the alarms in the station started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. Officer Zix burst into the room. "Commander, something is coming out of hyperspace. Multiple contacts! They're huge!" Everyone rushed to the control room. The main screen showed space near the station. Suddenly, dark shapes appeared, ships that looked like metal spiders with glowing red eyes. "What are those?" Sarah asked. "Commander," Thexara's body turned bright red with fear. "Devourer swarm," she whispered. "They followed your ship here." Admiral Krex's voice was full of anger. "They tracked your energy signature. You led them right to us." Sarah looked at the screen in horror. The spider-like ships were attacking everything they could see. Civilian transports exploded in balls of fire. Alien defense ships tried to fight back, but they were losing. "How many ships do they have?" Sarah asked. "Too many," Leader Vailon said. "We can't stop them." Sarah pressed her communicator. "Rodriguez, bring the Prometheus here right now. Full speed." "But Captain," Admiral Krex said, "your ship can't fight all of them." Sarah looked at him with determination in her eyes. "Maybe not, but we're going to try." The Devourer swarm ships moved like hungry wolves through space. Their metal hulls were black with red lights that pulsed like heartbeats. Each ship was the size of a city, covered with weapons and armor. They fired energy beams that cut through, alien ships like knives through paper. Captain Sarah Chen watched from the command station as the battle began. The Zalari defense fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons barely scratched the enemy ships. A Kithex cruiser exploded in a ball of orange fire. 3 Vortani energy fighters disappeared in flashes of light. "My people are dying," Admiral Krex said. His voice was full of pain. "We need to evacuate the station." "No," Sarah said. "If we run, they'll chase us. They'll destroy everything in this sector." Commander Thexara looked at the tactical display. "Captain Chen, we appreciate your courage, but your ship is alone. There are over 30 Devourer ships out there." Sarah smiled grimly. "Then we better make every shot count." The Prometheus arrived at full speed. The huge Earth ship moved between, the command station and the attacking swarm. Its thick armor glowed as enemy weapons hit it, but the ship kept moving forward. "All stations, this is Captain Chen," Sarah's voice came through the communicators. "We're going to buy time for the civilians to escape. All power to shields and weapons." Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice crackled back. "Captain, the Devourers are targeting the evacuation ships. We can't protect them all." Sarah ran to the shuttle bay. "I'm coming back to the ship. Keep fighting until I get there." Admiral Krex followed her. "I'm coming with you." "So am I," said Commander Thexara. "And me," added Leader Valon. Sarah stopped and looked at them. "This isn't your fight anymore. Get your people to safety." "You're wrong," Admiral Krex said. "You came here to help strangers. Now we'll help you." The 4 leaders rushed to Sarah's shuttle. As they flew toward the Prometheus, they could see the battle getting worse. The Devourer ships were everywhere. They moved in perfect coordination, like parts of one giant machine. "How do they work together so well?" Sarah asked. "They're not really separate ships," Leader Vylon explained. "They're all connected by quantum signals. One mind controls them all." Sarah thought about this. "Then if we can disrupt their signals—" "We've tried," Commander Thexara said. "Their communication system is too strong." The shuttle docked with the Prometheus, and everyone rushed to the bridge. The ship was shaking from enemy fire. Sparks flew from damaged control panels. "Report," Sarah ordered. "Shields at 60%, called out Crawl from the weapons station. "But we're hurting them too. Our quantum torpedoes are very effective." "Good," Sarah said. "What about the evacuation?" Talin checked her sensors. "Half the civilian ships have escaped, but the others are trapped. The Devourers have them surrounded." Sarah looked at the tactical display. The enemy ships had formed a net around the remaining civilians. They were slowly closing in for the kill. "We need a new plan," she said. Admiral Krex stepped forward. "Captain, I know these creatures. They attack in patterns. My grandfather fought them once before." "Tell me," Sarah said. "They always go for the biggest target first. Then they destroy anything that tries to help. They want to cause fear." Sarah nodded. "So if we give them a bigger target, they'll focus on us instead of the civilians," Commander Thexara finished. "Exactly," Sarah said. "Rodriguez, send a message to all the alien ships. Tell them to stay close to the civilians. We're going to draw the Devourers away." "How?" Leader Valon asked. Sarah turned to Crawl. "Remember those mining lasers we talked about? The ones that look like weapons?" Crawl's gray face showed understanding. "Yes, Captain. They're designed to cut through asteroids." "Can they cut through Devourer ships?" "If we can get close enough." Sarah sat in her captain's chair. "Then that's what we'll do. All power to engines. We're going hunting." The Prometheus turned away from the command station and flew straight at the largest Devourer ship. The enemy vessel was 3 times bigger than the human ship. Its red eyes glowed brighter as it prepared to fire. "Why are they doing this?" Commander Thexara asked. "Because they don't know how to back down," Admiral Krex said. "It's not in their nature." "That's not true," Sarah said. We know when to retreat. But these people need our help. Energy beams from the Devourer ship hit the Prometheus. The shields flared bright blue, but they held. Shields at 40%, Kral reported. Keep going, Sarah ordered. Wait for my signal. The human ship flew closer to the enemy. More Devourer ships turned to attack it. Soon, dozens of energy beams were hitting the Prometheus from all sides. Shields at 20%, Kral said. Captain, we have to do something now. Wait, Sarah said. She watched the tactical display. The Devourer ships were moving away from the civilians to attack her ship. Just a little more. Shields at 10%. Now, Sarah shouted. Fire everything! The Prometheus unleashed all its weapons at once. Quantum torpedoes flew toward the enemy ships. Mining lasers cut through space like swords of light. Construction beams, meant for building space stations, punched holes in Devourer armor. The largest enemy ship shuddered as the human weapons hit it. Its red lights flickered and went dark. The ship split in half and exploded. We got one, T'Lyn shouted. But there were still many more. The other Devourer ships attacked with fury. The Prometheus shook so hard that people fell down. Shields down, Kral reported. Hull damage on all decks. Can we keep fighting? Sarah asked. For a little while, Kral said. But we can't take much more. Sarah looked at the display again. The civilian ships were escaping. Most of them had reached safe distance. But her ship was badly damaged. Captain, Rodriguez called out. I'm getting a signal from the alien fleet. They want to help us. Tell them to stay back, Sarah said. They need to protect the civilians. They say they won't leave us to fight alone. On the screen, Sarah could see alien ships moving toward the battle. Zalari crystal ships shot beams of pure energy. Kithek swarm fighters moved like angry bees around the enemy. Vortani energy beings flowed through space like living lightning. Admiral Krex stood up straighter. My people remember what honor means. Commander Thexara's crystal body glowed bright white. And my people remember who their friends are. Leader. Velon pulsed with golden light. We stand together. The combined fleet fought hard against the Devourer swarm. Human weapons and alien technology worked side by side. For a moment, it looked like they might win. Then something terrible happened. The Devourer ships began to change. They connected to each other with energy beams. Slowly, they merged into one giant ship the size of a moon. What are they doing? Sarah asked. Leader Velon's light dimmed with fear. They're becoming a harvester. It's their final form. One ship with the power of many. The harvester's red eyes glowed like small suns. When it fired, the energy beam was so powerful it destroyed 3 alien ships at once. We can't fight that thing, Admiral Krex said. Sarah looked at her damaged ship and the small allied fleet. They were brave, but they were not strong enough. Captain, Rodriguez said, I'm picking up new signals. Ships coming out of hyperspace. Sarah felt hope rise in her chest. Who is it? The answer came on all frequencies at once. Voices speaking in different human languages, but all saying the same thing. This is the civilian rescue fleet. We're here to help. On the main screen, ships began appearing. They were not warships. They were mining vessels, transport ships, colony builders, and cargo haulers. Hundreds of human civilian ships, all coming to help people they had never met. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. How did they know? Rodriguez smiled. The emergency signal we sent reached human space. Every ship that could fly volunteered to come. Admiral Krex stared at the screen in amazement. They're not soldiers. They're just ordinary people. No, Sarah said. They're heroes. The human civilian fleet spread across space like a swarm of metal bees. Captain Sarah Chen watched in amazement as hundreds of ships took position around the massive harvester. These were not warriors or soldiers. They were miners, farmers, builders, and traders. But they had come to fight anyway. This is Captain Martinez of the mining ship Iron Fist, a voice called over the radio. We brought some surprises for those metal bugs. Captain Wong here, colony ship New Hope, said another voice. We've got civilian families on board, but we're not running. These people need help. Transport Captain Jackson reporting. We don't have weapons, but we've got something better. We've got determination. Sarah felt proud of her people, but also worried. All civilian ships, this is Captain Chen. You shouldn't be here. This is too dangerous. With respect, Captain, Captain Martinez replied. We go where we're needed. That's what humans do. The Harvester turned its massive red eyes toward the new arrivals. The giant ship was the size of a small moon, covered with weapons and armor. It had the combined power of 30 Devourer ships. How can civilian ships fight that thing? Admiral Krex asked. He stood on the bridge of the Prometheus with the other alien leaders. You're about to find out, Sarah said. Captain Martinez spoke. Again. All mining ships, deploy the asteroid net. Transport ships, get ready for ramming speed. Colony ships, prepare the terraforming equipment. Sarah smiled. They're going to use their tools as weapons. The mining ships moved first. They had been carrying large asteroids for processing. Now they released them in a wide net around the Harvester. The space rocks floated in perfect position. What good will rocks do? Commander Thexara asked. Watch, Sarah said. The mining ships fired their rock-cutting lasers at the asteroids, but instead of cutting them up, they heated them until they glowed like small suns. Then magnetic fields pushed the burning rocks toward the Harvester. The alien leaders watched in amazement as hundreds of flaming asteroids hit the giant ship. The Harvester's shields flickered and sparked. Clever, Leader Valon said. They turned mining equipment into siege weapons, but the Harvester was too strong. Its weapons destroyed most of the asteroids before they could do much damage. The giant ship began to turn toward the mining fleet. Transport ships now, Captain Jackson called out. The big cargo ships flew straight at the Harvester. They were not fast or well armed, but they were tough. The Harvester's energy beams hit them again and again, but the transports kept coming. They're going to ram it, Admiral Krex said. That's suicide. No, Sarah said. Look closer. Just before the transport ships would have crashed, they released their cargo. Thousands of shipping containers flew toward the Harvester. But these containers were not full of trade goods. They were full of explosives. The containers hit the giant ship and exploded. The Harvester shook and its red lights dimmed. For a moment, it stopped firing. Colony ships, your turn, Captain Wong announced. The colony ships were the biggest of all. They carried everything needed to build new worlds: atmosphere processors, weather control systems, and geological shapers. Now they aimed these tools at the enemy. Weather control systems created lightning storms around the Harvester. Atmosphere processors filled space with dense fog, making it hard for the giant ship to see. Geological shapers sent gravity waves that made the Harvester spin and wobble. Incredible, Commander Thexara said. They're using peaceful tools to fight. The combined attack was working. The Harvester was damaged and confused, but it was not defeated. The giant ship began to adapt to the human tactics. Its weapons became more accurate. Its shields grew stronger. It's learning, Leader Valon said with worry. Then we need to learn faster, Sarah said. She opened a channel to all ships. This is Captain Chen. All human and alien vessels, form up on me. We're going to try something new. The mixed fleet gathered around the Prometheus. Human ships flew next to Zalari crystal vessels. Kithek swarm fighters moved alongside Earth transports. Vortani energy beings flowed between colony ships. What's the plan, Captain? Admiral Krex asked. Sarah studied the tactical display. The Harvester is too strong for any one species to defeat, but together we might have a chance. She explained her idea. The Zalari could amplify energy with their crystal technology. The Kitheks were masters of swarm tactics. The Vortani could manipulate pure energy, and humans were good at using whatever they had in creative ways. "We'll combine our technologies," Sarah said. "Create something none of us could build alone." The work began immediately. Human engineers worked with Zalari crystal shapers to build energy amplifiers. Kithek swarm coordinators taught human pilots their flight patterns. Vortani energy masters showed everyone how to focus power. "This is impossible," one of the human engineers said. "These technologies shouldn't work together." "Maybe not," Sarah replied, "but we're going to make them work." While the fleet worked, the Harvester continued its attack. It destroyed more ships and moved closer to the command station. Time was running out. "Captain," Talin called from her station, "the Harvester is charging its main weapon. If it fires at full power, it will destroy the command station and everything near it." Sarah looked at the display. The giant ship's red eyes were growing brighter. In a few minutes, it would have enough power to end the battle. "How long until our weapon is ready?" she asked. "At least 10 minutes, the chief engineer replied. "We don't have 10 minutes, Admiral Krex said. Sarah made a decision. "Then we'll have to make time." She opened the general channel. "All ships, I need volunteers for a suicide mission. We have to fly into the Harvester's main weapon and stop it from firing." The response was immediate. Dozens of voices spoke at once. "I'll go," said Captain Martinez. "Count me in," added Captain Jackson. "My ship is already damaged," said a Kithek's pilot. "I'll make it count." "We all go together," said a Vortani energy being. Sarah felt tears in her eyes again. "You don't understand. This is a one-way trip." "We understand perfectly," Captain Wong replied. "Some things are worth dying for." The volunteer ships formed up for their final attack. They flew straight at the Harvester's main weapon, which looked like a giant red eye in the center of the ship. The Harvester fired everything it had at them. Energy beams, missiles, and plasma bolts filled space. One by one, the volunteer ships were destroyed, but they kept coming. Captain Martinez was the first to reach the main weapon. His mining ship plowed into the red eye and exploded. The explosion was followed by others as more ships sacrificed themselves. The Harvester's main weapon flickered and went dark. The giant ship shuddered and stopped moving toward the command station. "They did it," Commander Thexara whispered, but the victory came at a terrible cost. 20 ships and their crews were gone. Sarah felt each loss like a knife in her heart. "Captain," the chief engineer called out, "the combined weapon is ready." Sarah wiped tears from her eyes. "Then let's finish this, for everyone who gave their lives today." The new weapon was unlike anything ever built before. It combined Zalari crystal focusing, Kithek swarm coordination, Vortani energy manipulation, and human determination. Every ship in the fleet was connected to it. "All ships, prepare to fire," Sarah ordered. The weapon charged slowly. Energy flowed from ship to ship, growing stronger with each connection. The Harvester seemed to sense the danger. It turned its remaining weapons toward the fleet. "Fire!" Sarah shouted. A beam of pure energy shot from the combined fleet toward the Harvester. It was white-hot and brilliant, like a piece of the sun itself. When it hit the giant ship, the Harvester began to break apart. The giant ship's red eyes went dark one by one. Its armor cracked and fell away. Finally, with a flash of light that could be seen across the sector, the Harvester exploded. The battle was over. The Devourer swarm was defeated. But the cost had been high. Many good people were dead, and the survivors were tired and sad. "We won," Admiral Krex said quietly. "Yes," Sarah replied. "But it doesn't feel like winning." Commander Thexara's crystal body glowed with soft blue light. "They died as heroes. We will remember them." Leader Valon pulsed with gentle golden energy. "They showed us what it means to sacrifice for others." Sarah looked out at the debris field where the Harvester had been. Among the wreckage, she could see pieces of human and alien ships mixed together. "Maybe something good can come from this," she said. Maybe we can learn to work together. We already have, Admiral Krex said. Today we were not separate species. We were one fleet, one people. Sarah nodded. Then let's make sure their sacrifice meant something. Let's build a future they would be proud of. 3 months after the battle, Captain Sarah Chen stood in the main assembly hall of Zalari Sector Command. The hall was filled with beings from 4 different species. Humans, Zalari, Cathex, and Vortani sat together as equals for the first time in galactic history. The space station had been rebuilt and expanded. Where once there had been separate sections for each species, now there were common areas where everyone could meet. The walls showed pictures of the ships and crews that had died fighting the Harvester. Their sacrifice would never be forgotten. Today marks a new beginning, Commander Thexara said from the podium. Her crystal body glowed with warm white light. Today, we officially end the quarantine of human space. The crowd applauded. Sarah saw humans and aliens clapping together. Some were crying happy tears. Admiral Krex stepped forward. His insect-like body was bright green now, the color of joy among his people. For 200 years, we believed humans were our enemies. We were wrong. They are our greatest allies. More applause filled the hall. Sarah felt proud, but also humble. So much had changed since that first day when the Prometheus entered the sector. Leader Valon floated above the crowd as a ball of golden light. The Galactic Council has voted. Humanity is invited to join as a full-member species. The crowd cheered even louder. Sarah stood up and walked to the podium. Everyone became quiet. "Thank you," she said. "But before we celebrate, we need to talk about the future. The Devourer swarm will come back. They always do. We need to be ready." Commander Thexara nodded. "That's why we're creating something new. A joint defense force with ships and crews from all our species." Sarah smiled. "I've been thinking about that. What if we do more than just work together? What if we actually serve together?" "What do you mean?" Admiral Krex asked. "Mixed crews," Sarah explained. "Humans, Zalari, Kitheks, and Vortani all serving on the same ships, learning from each other, fighting side by side." The crowd murmured with interest. This was a radical idea. No one had ever tried to mix species on military ships before. "It could work," Leader Valon said. "During the battle, we saw how well our technologies combined. And our different ways of thinking made us stronger," added Commander Thexara, Admiral. Krex stood up. "I volunteer my ship and crew to be part of this experiment." "So do I," said Sarah. "And I," added Commander Thexara. "We all do," said Leader Valon. The crowd erupted in cheers again. Sarah felt hope growing in her heart. This was bigger than just ending a war. This was the beginning of something wonderful. Over the next year, the new integrated fleet took shape. The first mixed crew ship was the rebuilt Prometheus. Sarah remained its captain, but now she had officers from all 4 species. Lieutenant Rodriguez was still her communications officer. Kral had been promoted to weapons commander. Talin was the chief navigator. But now they were joined by others. Commander Thexara served as science officer. Her crystal body could interface directly with the ship's computers. Admiral Krex was the tactical officer. His people's knowledge of swarm fighting was invaluable. Leader Valon acted as an energy systems specialist, her abilities perfect for managing the ship's power. "This is strange," Rodriguez said one day as they prepared for their first patrol mission. 6 months ago, we thought these people were our enemies." 6 months ago, they thought the same about us, Sarah replied. "Fear makes people do foolish things." The new Prometheus was different from the old ship. It combined technologies from all 4 species. Zalari crystal matrices amplified the power systems. Kythex coordination protocols improved the tactical systems. Vortani energy manipulation made the shield stronger. Human adaptability tied it all together. "Captain, Talin called from navigation. "We're approaching the patrol area. This region of space had been hit hard by devourer raids. Several colonies had been destroyed. The survivors were refugees now, living in temporary camps." "Are the supply ships ready?" Sarah asked. "All loaded and standing by," Kral reported. The mission was both military and humanitarian. They would patrol for devourer scouts while delivering food, medicine, and building materials to the refugee camps. "There's a camp on the third planet," Thexara said, reading her sensors. "About 10,000 refugees from different species." "Take us down," Sarah ordered. The Prometheus landed near the refugee camp. Sarah and her mixed crew walked out together to meet the camp leaders. The refugees stared in amazement. They had never seen humans and aliens working together before. "Are you really all from the same ship?" asked one of the camp leaders, a small, furry creature whose planet had been destroyed. "We are," Sarah said, "and we're here to help." The work began immediately. Human engineers worked with Zalari crystal shapers to build new shelters. Kithek's logistics officers organized food distribution. With help from Vortani energy beings, everyone worked together. "This is how it should be," Admiral Krex said as he watched children from different species playing together. "No one should have to face the universe alone." The mission was interrupted by an urgent signal from space. "Prometheus, this is Patrol. Ship Harmony, we've detected devourer scouts in the next system. 3 ships, heading this way." Sarah ran back to her ship. "All hands, prepare for combat. Looks like we get to test our new system sooner than expected." The Prometheus lifted off and flew toward the enemy. The devourer scouts were small compared to the Harvester, but they were still dangerous. Each one could destroy a colony if left. Alone. "Entering combat range," Talin reported. "All weapons ready," Kral announced. "Shields at maximum," added Leader Vailon. Sarah sat in her captain's chair. Around her, beings from 4 different species worked as one crew. "Let's show them what we learned." "Fire!" The battle was quick and decisive. The combined technologies of the Alliance were too much for the Devourer scouts. Zalari amplified weapons cut through their armor. Kithek's swarm tactics confused their targeting systems. Vortani energy shields deflected their attacks. Human coordination made it all work perfectly. "All targets destroyed," Kral reported with satisfaction. "Any damage to us?" Sarah asked. "None, Captain," Leader Vailon replied. "Our shields held perfectly." Sarah smiled. "Good. Let's go back and finish helping those refugees." News of the victory spread quickly. More species asked to join the Alliance. The integrated fleet grew larger and stronger. Ships with mixed crews patrolled the borders of civilized space, protecting everyone from threats. The Prometheus became famous throughout the galaxy. Stories were told of the ship where former enemies had become family. Children from many worlds dreamed of serving on such a vessel when they grew up. 1 year after the Battle of Zalari Sector, a great ceremony was held. Representatives from dozens of species came to honor those who had died and celebrate the new alliance. Sarah stood before a memorial wall that listed every being who had given their life in the battle. Humans, Zalari, Kitheks, and Vortani names were carved together in stone. They stood together so others could live free, she read from the inscription at the bottom. Commander Thexara joined her at the memorial. "Do you think they would be proud of what we've built?" "I think they would be amazed," Sarah replied. "Who could have imagined that their sacrifice would lead to this?" Behind them, the ceremony continued. Children from many species sang songs of peace in different languages. The words were different, but the melody was the same. Admiral Krex approached with Leader Vailon. "Captain Chen, we have a proposal for you." "What is it?" Sarah asked. "The Alliance Council wants you to command the new Deep Space Fleet," Admiral Krex said. 50 ships with mixed crews, exploring unknown space and defending the frontier. Sarah thought about it. "What about the Prometheus?" She'll be your flagship, Leader Vylon said, with the same crew, if they want to come. Sarah looked around at her friends and colleagues. Rodriguez nodded eagerly. Kral showed his teeth in what humans had learned was a Kithek smile. T'Lyn purred with approval. The alien officers all agreed as well. We're a family now, Sarah said. We go together or not at all. Then it's settled, Commander Thexara said. The Deep Space Fleet launches next month. As the ceremony ended, Sarah walked to the observation deck. Through the big windows, she could see ships from the integrated fleet flying patrol routes. Each ship had a mixed crew working together for the common good. Rodriguez joined her at the window. Hard to believe how much has changed, isn't it, Captain? Yes, Sarah said. But I think this is just the beginning. There's a whole galaxy out there full of people who need help. And we'll be there for them, Rodriguez said. Sarah nodded. That's what humans do. That's what we all do now. The stars beckoned, full of promise and possibility. The alliance was strong, the ships were ready, and the crews were united. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. In the distance, the Prometheus gleamed in the starlight, ready for its next mission. On its hull, painted in the languages of 4 species, were the words that had become the motto of the new Alliance, no one fights alone. The universe was vast and dangerous, but it was also full of hope. And wherever that hope was needed, the ships of the Alliance would be there, crewed by beings who had learned that the greatest strength came not from fighting against each other, but from standing together. The future was bright with possibility, and it belonged to all of them.